Hey everyone! A lot of people these days are calling every automated system that uses ChatGPT an AI agent. But here's the truth. Not everything that uses AI is actually an agent. And honestly, mixing up the terms can lead to a lot of confusion, especially if you're building something serious. So, in this video, let me explain in the clearest way possible. What's the real difference between an AI workflow and an AI agent? Let's start with workflows. A workflow is just a sequence of predefined steps. Think of it like a checklist or a recipe. You already know what should happen first, what happens next, and what happens if something goes wrong. For example, imagine a customer support system. A user submits a support ticket. GPT classifies the type of issue. Then it generates a predefined email response, and the system automatically sends it back. If the user still isn't happy, the ticket gets escalated to a human. All these steps are planned out in advance. You're telling the system, if this happens, do that. If not, do something else. Even if you're using GPT to generate the response, it's still just a tool inside the workflow. You're the one making the decisions. The workflow just follows instructions. Workflows are incredibly useful for repetitive, predictable tasks. They're efficient and reliable because everything is scripted in advance. But that's also their limitation. They lack flexibility. If something unexpected happens outside the predefined logic, the system can't adapt on its own. It simply doesn't know how to respond unless you've already told it what to do in that exact scenario. It's like asking your GPS for a pizza place and it freezes because you misspelled pepperoni. Workflows don't improvise, they panic quietly and break things. That's not an AI agent. That's an AI-powered workflow. Now let's talk about what makes something a real AI agent. Imagine the same support ticket example, but instead of rigid steps, you let the AI decide what to do. The user submits a ticket. The agent reads it, understands the context, checks past conversations with the same user, maybe even asks follow-up questions to understand the problem better. It decides whether it can solve the issue itself or if it should escalate to a human based on reasoning, not fixed logic. It might search a knowledge base, run a script, or use tools you gave it access to. Now that's an agent. It's autonomous. It has memory, access to tools, and the ability to make decisions on its own depending on the situation. That's the key difference. A workflow follows logic you gave it. An agent makes decisions within the scope you gave it. So if you're building something on platforms like N8N or Zapier, and you're just connecting APIs and using ChatGPT for part of it, that's a workflow. But if you're giving your system the ability to plan, reason, ask questions, and decide what actions to take, then you're building an AI agent. And the line between the two is getting blurrier as tools get smarter. But it's still an important line to understand. So next time you hear someone say, "I built an AI agent," ask yourself, did they really? Or did they just build a smart workflow? If you're not sure which one you're working on, try this. Remove your instructions. Does it still function intelligently? If not, congrats, you're a workflow wizard, not an agent architect. Let's make this even clearer. Think of an AI workflow like a vending machine. You push a button for soda. The machine checks your selection, checks if it has that soda, then drops the can. It might even thank you, but it will never say, "Hey, it looks like it's hot outside. Want a cold drink instead of that hot coffee you just picked?" That kind of thoughtfulness, that's where agents come in. Agents are like personal assistants. Not the kind that just hands you a stapler when you say stapler, but the kind that says, "Hey, your 2 p.m. meeting got moved. Do you want me to reschedule your Uber?" That's reasoning, planning, autonomy, all the big brain stuff. Now don't get me wrong, workflows are not bad. In fact, they're essential. They're like the loyal employees that never question anything, never take a break, and never spill coffee on your laptop. But if you're trying to build something that thinks, reacts, and adapts, you need an agent. Let's break it down further with one more example. Booking a meeting. With a workflow, you might set it up like this. A form is filled out. The system checks your calendar. It books the slot. It sends an email. Boom. Done, predictable, reliable, robotic. But an agent? That's a different story. Let's say the person requesting the meeting is your VIP client. The agent might look at your past interactions, See that you always book 45 minutes with this person instead of the standard 30, and adjust accordingly. Or maybe it notices that you're usually tired on Fridays and automatically suggests Monday instead. Because even your AI knows Friday brain is not ready for big decisions. Now we're not just talking about task automation. We're talking about contextual understanding and decision-making. Another key factor? Memory. A workflow doesn't remember what happened yesterday unless you manually store that information somewhere and tell it to look. An agent, on the other hand, should have memory. It knows that you canceled a meeting last week because of a family emergency. So next time it sees a conflict with family dinner, it might just ask, "Are you sure you want to double book this?" It's that kind of intelligence that separates the agents from the flows. Now you might be thinking, wait, can't we just slap memory and a reasoning model on a workflow and call it an agent? Not really. That's like putting racing stripes on a bicycle and calling it a Ferrari. It might look cool, but it's not built for the same kind of decisions. Agents are not just smarter because they use better models. They're smarter because they're designed to choose between paths, not just follow them. Let's not forget, agents come with responsibility. When you build an agent, you're giving it a brain, not just hands, which means it can do things you didn't predict. It might decide to do nothing. It might ask more questions than you wanted. And yes, it might even make mistakes. That's why building agents is harder than building workflows, but also way more powerful if done right. So please stop calling everything an AI agent. If all you've done is string together a bunch of APIs with some clever prompts, congrats, you built a smart workflow. But an agent, that's a whole new level. It's like calling your toaster a chef just because it makes toast. Calm down, Gordon Ramsay. In the end, it's not about flexing the terminology, it's about understanding what you're building and what it can really do. Because if we don't get the terms right, we'll start having the wrong expectations. And trust me, nothing crashes faster than an AI agent that was expected to be a mind reader, but was really just an obedient checklist. So the next time someone says, "I built an AI agent," don't just nod. Smile politely and ask, "Oh yeah? What kind of memory does it use? How does it decide what to do next?" Watch the panic. Or the pride, depending on whether they actually built one. Thanks for watching. If this video helped clear things up, hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives into the world of AI, and drop a comment below. What are you building? A workflow or an agent? Can't wait to hear your answers. See you in the next one.